wanted to give that not that ending. And I was writing Salad Bowl, but it was so negative. I went to ICU and I was like, now I cannot write this novel. I need to write something light. And so I got into a rom com. And so I wrote it. Then my editor read and said it was complete trash. And this is that most of the writers are writing partial autobiographies. Their first novels are mostly partial autobiographies. So that is the biggest gift you can give yourself.
Tell me more about this first 3 months after you published this book. What did it look like?
Write like an artist, edit like an editor, and market like an entrepreneur. One message in particular I remember, she said that she lost her father a year back. In the span of 1 year, this is the first time I'm laughing and smiling after reading a novel. And that was everything for me. I was like, even if I don't sell another copy, I don't care.
Welcome to White and All, where we celebrate authors and poets and literature. Today we have with us Ms. Nehal Niharika, who is the author of the book That Will Be Our Song. She's also a TEDx speaker, a painter, and we'll discover more about her as we talk. Yeah, I'm just so glad we finally made it till
Finally.
here. We were discussing it for so long. First of all, can I just say, I think your book is so well written. I didn't even know what I was getting into when I started reading it. And it was very catchy and it made my evenings. I loved the poems and I love this.
They're not poems, they're songs.
Yes. I'm so sorry. So I love the songs and I loved the choices of songs you were playing in between, you know?
Oh, I have a playlist, Spotify playlist.
I have gone through it. Like I read it very fast and it was so easy to read, you know, and so well written. And then I discovered that the cover of this book was hand painted by you. Wow, that is so cool.
Thank you.
You are so cool.
One of the 5 people who read this novel.
No, I think more people would, because I think it deserves it. It was. And your next book is also coming out. How's preparation going on for that? I'm so excited.
I have a deadline weekend to pay, but I am lost. I'm completely lost. So let's see.
It's okay. So, what was the inspiration behind this book? How did this book start?
Okay, so after school, I decided not to go to college, immediately. So I wanted to complete my dream novel, Salad Bowl, which is also mentioned in the novel. That was a very serious, massive plot line, and it had bigotry, violence, rape, misogyny, all of that, and riots, etc. So I was doing deep researches for that. I was watching documentaries and I was reading all UN datas, how many people were killed in riots, etc. I was surrounded by all that negative things because a lot was going on in this world that time, and I knew I couldn't do anything, so I could write about it in my novel and fix it. I thought something like that. So I got too immersed in that. And I was really lonely because I had just gotten out of a 5-year relationship. So I was really lonely and stuff. So I was writing Salad Bowl, but it was so negative. I was living in a room on my terrace in like 45 degrees in May. And it was a form of self-punishment, I think. So finally I collapsed. I went to ICU and I was like, now I cannot write this novel. I need to write something light and cute. So I got into a rom-com field.
How long did it take? How long did it take for you to complete this book?
1.5 years.
1.5 years.
So first I was depressed. I just wanted to write a rom-com, and I was single, and I had never been single, so I did not know how to be single. So I thought, okay, so my dream guy will be better than my ex. My ex was a doctor from one of the best medical colleges in India. So I thought, okay, what could be better than this medical college? So I thought, my next would be from AIIMS Delhi. So I was just fantasizing everything, and so I wrote it just as a fiction for myself. So, but then my editor read and said it was complete trash. And this Siddharth is very unreal and it has no dimensions. It's very fairy tale and unrealistic. So she was right. Then I thought that, okay, fine. Let's dig in some more. Abhi real life Siddharth ko dhoondte hain. So I had no idea where will I find real life Siddharth, but I knew he will be from AIIMS Delhi. So I randomly followed some people from AIIMS Delhi. And usme there was this guy who had nothing to do with me. Others were very nice and polite and were my friends. I cannot write books on my friends. So he had nothing to do with me. So I thought, he's my muse. He's my muse. I'll write him.
Okay.
Well, then something horrible happened at home. My uncle and auntie died suddenly, and I could not handle that. I was really depressed and obsessed, and I did not know how to take that out. क्योंकि मेरे घर पे everybody was devastated, तो हम उन पे burden नहीं बनना चाहते थे. So I just this random guy, I sent him 600 texts. Hey, 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 just random text. My rat died. I was sick. Yeah, what this random text? I don't know why, but then I thought, okay, this is like too crazy. So I started rewriting my novel that my editor rejected. And this time, I was being really honest with myself, emotionally vulnerable, and I had a real Siddharth and everything. So, like that, I started writing. And then I wrote about
Wow.
the books. I mentioned that the death and stuff and everything.
It
So I
is,
was
it is.
real
Okay.
time,
Oh.
like a coping mechanism. It was survival at that time.
But I think I found Arya very cute.
Thank you.
I don't know how much of similarities you both have, but I think she is so very cute. I just felt like you started your Instagram, na, that stories with Arya, traveling
Hmm.
with Arya, packing with Arya, something.
All
I'm watching it.
both.
I'm like, if I could meet her in person, it would be great. That's why I texted you and like, so let's meet one day. Anyways, can we also talk about your songs and the metaphors you've used?
Okay. So I wanted to write a novel, rom-com that felt like a cookie and warm winter blanket sort of. So I tried to do everything to make that a comfy, warm novel. So I was writing a novel. Oh, I have mentioned that chocolate, hot chocolates, and Christmas vibe
Uh-huh.
and everything. So I thought, what else can I add? So I decided that I should add little songs because this guy, the Siddharth guy, he used to write songs in his real life.
Oh,
So I thought that I should
oh,
write little songs for him at the end of every chapters. So I read a lot of songwriters, Mother Taylor, and everyone. So then I took inspiration from that and I wrote tiny chapters.
you have written about like how many chapters? About 60, 70 chapters, right? And all of them have this,
Little songs.
oh my God, when I read them, I was just so shocked how anyone could come up with that.
So this guy who was the inspiration of Siddharth, I read his song. He wrote, "Na anybody can have a story, but not everyone can have a song." So I
Oh.
took, yeah, we can have a song. We can have so many songs.
Okay. Um, Coming to the, you know, talking about a story is a fun and easy thing, but writing it down is,
Yeah.
I think it's a very strategic stuff going on behind the scenes. So tell me, how did you write your book? Was there an outline? Was there an ending decided to the story?
So at first I was writing for survival. So it was like I have to write, blah blah blah. And then I think now art is very free flowing. You cannot tie it by
Mm,
discipline and rules. And every
mm,
artist has their own style: dancing, painting, writing. Every author has their own style. Indian novel currently they lack style because if you read five Indian novels, they'll all be same. Like they have the same editor, they are using the same tools, they have the same publishing company, so it's all same. So if I have to read anything in a same voice, just a story, I'll watch a movie. So I was firm that I'll write in my own style. Maybe none of the Indian editors will like it or the publishing company. That's fine. I just have to reach my readers. I don't care about publishing company. So while writing in the process of creating the art, I don't think you need to follow any rule or discipline or line. You just have to write and write and write and write, like in a flow form. But once you have written the manuscript, once the manuscript is complete, then you have to get very technical. Then you have to edit and edit and edit. Sometimes मतलब book का limit usually यहाँ के novels में तो 45,000 होता है, but बाहर में 1,90,000 ये सब words होता है. मेरा जो first I wrote it, it was 2 lakh words or something, and I had to cut half the books. And sometimes you are very attached to your work. You don't want to edit anything out. But at that time, you have to be technical. You have to edit it out. You have to clean some of your favorite lines and stuff. That is technicality. And then marketing, that is also. So yeah, write like an artist, edit like an editor, and market like an entrepreneur.
So you edited your book as well?
Yeah, at that time I did not have money. So yeah, I self-edited that book 70 times, and then I got it professionally edited once because that's all the money I had. Still, there are some typos. So we are relaunching the book at the World Book Fair this year or January maybe. So at that time, I'll get it professionally edited, so no typos are left because it gets embarrassing at times.
How did that work in 1.5 years? It must have taken so much time.
Once you write the manuscript, all you have to do is edit, re-edit, 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 and edit, and then edit again.
Must have hurt removing those. Did you remove any of your songs?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've kept it for the sequels.
okay. So there would be a sequel. Okay.
Yeah. So I used to outline the entire. First, I wrote the rough draft. Then I outlined the entire novel. Then I outlined chapter by chapter, scenes by scenes.
Uh-huh.
If I once you're in the process now, you are obsessed with the process. Then you even dream about some lines and stuff. So I used to write that I'll put it in this chapter. I'll put it in this chapter. Then it becomes easier while writing and editing. You should know where you're
Wow.
going. Otherwise, वो endless हो जाएगा फिर.
Hmm. Do you have any storyboard to show us?
No, I just cleaned my room. That wall was the
Huh.
storyboard initially.
Oh, I can see that painting. Is that no? That's not a painting. That was a bigger canvas, I think.
I can show you the
You
painting.
have a bigger can.
Yeah.
I saw in some of your videos. It was a
Yeah,
bigger canvas.
I was painting.
So very cool. Mm. Okay.
So this is Siddharth. At that time,
Ah,
I painted this. This did I use it
I,
in the yeah, in the back
yes,
on the
you
wall.
have, you have it. I think it is also on Amazon as well. But-
Yes, yes, yes. And then this.
Yeah, that one, the OG.
Yeah, the OG.
Uh-huh. Okay, so tell me about the biggest challenge of turning your idea into a manuscript.
With this book, the biggest challenge was I was dealing with losses and family losses and death, and I was really sad. And nobody had seen me cry for like 10 years. I'd never cried. For 10 years, I did not cry. I just shut my system. I was happy girl and blah blah. When I was writing this book, I had to be emotionally vulnerable because my first draft को वैसे ही reject कर चुकी थी मेरे editor that it's trash. So I was really vulnerable. That's why I was writing the novel. And I cried so much with, like, I think my emotions were the biggest challenge. That was the challenge. I used to write,
Uh,
get very emotional, and then I used to write again, and then again I used to get very emotional. So that was the challenge.
wow. One of the things that I loved about this novel is what I
Yeah.
loved about this book was both the characters were they had their own flaws. She was very impulsive, and he was, I don't know, a bit avoidant, and he was very aware of his surroundings. So I love that the characters were so real. But again, Arya was someone who I could not predict. I could not say what she's going to do next. And like, how did you build that character?
So with Arya, I was not really working on the character. I was working on myself. I was like, "Okay, what will I do in this situation? What should I do, and what will I do?" So I
Okay.
knew we know what's right and what's wrong, but we don't do that. Our reactions are derived from our traumas and the fear and
Uh,
environment. And so I was like, "Yeah, this is what I'll do. If somebody will ghost me for my 500 texts, I'll break his phone. I'm sorry. I'll regret that. Then I'll face the consequences." I made sure that Arya faces all her consequences. She gets publicly humiliated and stuff. Yeah, but that's what she'll do. Then in the book, there was a healing journey that she was becoming
hmm.
calmer and stuff. But people don't change from the code. So that's what my method with Arya was just that what will I do? And how humans usually react. Humans make blunders. They're,
Yes,
they're not humans.
exactly. I love that about.
I wanted to give that not that ending. I wanted like she built her self respect and she did not. But I would never leave a chance on love. Love, I have to take that chance. You never know.
I am sure that your friends or family, someone would have read this book. Did
Hmm.
they say that you are Arya?
No, they
Or
knew what I was writing about. them and me. They all knew that. So the only review I got was from my sister's mother-in-law. She was really into the novel and she did not know me much. So she was like, "Oh, when is the
Uh,
sequel coming? When is the sequel coming?" Other than that, my family members did not read it. So yeah, just my sister read and she said, "Why am I not in the books?" Except that
uh,
I did not get any review that it's
so you have
you.
real names
No, no, no.
you use,
But they
but they
recognize.
know, they
Yeah, they
know,
know.
you know. What I think is, even though you wrote Arya in an impulsive way, and did you fear that people would think that you yourself also are very impulsive or
Yeah.
something like that? You thought that?
People were already thinking that. I had nothing much to lose. So I
But
wrote art to justify that why am I reacting that way? I can change. It's the situation and stuff. Matlab, they already knew I was impulsive and crazy. So I was just giving a justification that no, it's the
but
situation.
the thing is, Arya, or maybe in this case, you were always aware of what you were doing,
Mm.
which I, and also you also wrote Siddharth, you know, he is the opposite of Arya.
Yeah, calm and composed.
Yeah, calm and composed. And were you thinking about what people would think?
No, no, yeah, they were already aware that I'm impulsive
Uh,
and and stuff. So I was just trying to justify them that it's the situation. Nobody's perfect.
exactly.
You would react worst. So just shut. I was like that. So I did not care much about people. I knew that my family members and my friends are not my readers. My readers are
Uh,
different people who don't know me. So I don't care what my family members and my friends think from the novel. They have me. They can judge me from me, the person. They don't need to judge me from my novel. I was not much worried about people. I can explain them later.
oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you wrote it that way. Okay.
End of the day, whatever works for you. People's opinion are gonna change. If you're doing something good, they'll be, yeah, that's the way. I always knew that. You are a genius. If you're not doing good, no matter how perfect you are, the blame's on you. So
That's true. Do you think that your readers were going to get so emotionally invested in this book while you were writing? Or were you not sure?
honestly, I wrote this book for myself. So I wanted to read a rom-com that I write about myself. So that was my main purpose of reading. I was not writing for readers or the publishing companies. I was writing as an artist, whatever I wanted to read. So I did not care about the readers or anyone. But when the book came out, it was little surprising the kind of response I got in the earlier stage. After that, I stopped marketing or working, so I don't get any response. But the first 3 months, I was like, wow. I mean, I was like, yeah, this is a response that I should get, but I did not expect that to actually happen. That
Okay,
was,
tell me more about this first 3 months after you published this book. What did it look like?
yeah. So the first 3 months, so I had made a lot of friends in the process. So I had my old friends I had outgrown. Plus, yeah, so shout out to Lisha, my best friend. She has always been there. Other than her, I had outgrown all my friends. I am connected to them, but they're like trash. So yeah, so other than that, I had made new friends. They were really pampering me and motivating me, and they were doing really good in their own lives. So I was really happy. So when the book came, so it was Amazon bestseller for 3 months. And then I was invited to TED Talk for that novel. And I went to book signing at book fair and met people, and people were really happy to see me. They were like, "You are the author of Yeo," and I was like living the dream life that I thought I would live.
Oh,
It was all really good, and I was getting these long messages that I read your novel. I felt this, and one message in particular I remember. That was probably the first message I received from a reader after she read it. She wrote, she lost her father a year back. She said that
oh,
in 1 year, in the span of 1 year, this is the first time I'm laughing and smiling after reading a novel, and I'm looking forward that I go to work, then I come back hopeful that I have to read the next chapter. And that was everything for me. I was like, even if I don't sell another copy, I don't care. I have done my work. So that
That
was
is
something that,
so sweet.
yeah, that was everything. That was literally everything. So yeah, and one of my readers sent me this. She sent me this.
Oh wow.
And she sent me a letter which is in my souvenir box, which is dug inside. So that was like, oh my god, I'm doing something.
Wow, that is so sweet.
Yeah, those 3 months were the best time of my life till now. After that, I had another breakup, and then I did
Yeah.
not work for 3 years, and everything vanished.
But you're working on the other book. I hope that time comes back for you.
Yeah, but for authors, I would like to tell them and myself that once your book is published, you're on your job forever. You cannot let your emotions decide that today I don't want to work, today I will not show up.
Um,
So you have to market your book continuously. Otherwise, you're just gone. Yeah. In those 3 months, every editor and every agent and readers knew me. But I vanished and now they don't care. So it's that. I'll make a comeback.
you will. I'm so waiting for it. I'm so rooting for you.
Thank you.
Acha. As a writer, if I am writing right now and if you have to give me an advice to what to do when you are stuck in a story, what would you say?
See, I am never stuck in a story. That is one challenge I've never faced. I either don't have any story, so I don't pick up the novel, I don't start writing, or I'm just lazy and I don't want to write. That it has never happened that you start a story and you get stuck. How can you get stuck? So I write the outline.
Acha. You start with an outline?
Yeah, yeah. I start with an outline and then I write, like, something derives you to write that novel, right? And when that motivation comes, you have the entire story. Even if it's a trashy
Um,
story, you have the entire story. You write the trashy story, write that trashy outline, you'll figure it out and you'll fix it in the journey. Let your characters decide what they want, what would they naturally do, rather than, yeah, this would be the perfect scene. No, will she do that or will he do that? Let the story write yourself. And you should know that what is the starting point, what is the end. You might change the ending in the further process and stuff, but you should know where you have to go. So story में stuck तो I don't. Never been.
oh, cool. Acha. Realistically,
Hmm.
what was your feeling when you were publishing your book?
When I was publishing my book, my feelings were that people will understand that I'm not crazy. And I had been writing novels for 5 years and I did not publish. So I just wanted to make sense that I am doing what I said I would do. That was my main feeling. And when it got published, and I told you about the reaction event, that was larger than life for me. Like, I mean, people do get actual larger than life reactions, but for me, this was larger than life. That was, yeah.
How was the publishing? What was the process of your publishing?
My publishing process, for firstly, I decided that I would print my books on my own and get a GST number and sell it on Amazon. That was my original plan. But then a publishing
Okay.
company reached out that don't do that. Let us publish your book. We'll traditionally publish your book. We'll not take any money on stuff. You'll get royalty. Let us publish it. It's a small publishing company and it's a very good publishing company, Paper Town, my publisher. So I said I was really skeptical. I wanted things under my control, and it's really difficult to work with me. So I'll pinpoint, nitpick on everything. But why are you removing this comma? Why are you removing this full stop? No, no, no. You don't have to be blah blah blah. So I said yes, but it was hectic. But they really tolerated me, and so I went with them for publishing. But for readers, there are three kind of publishing. First, self publishing, second, traditional, and third is vanity publishing. Self publishing is when you print and publish your own book and you sell it on your own. You are the in charge, you have to do everything. Second is traditional. In traditional publishing, these big publishing companies like Penguin, Pan Macmillan stuff, and in some smaller publishing companies, traditionally publish your book for free, but they give
Okay.
you very little control over your book, and
Okay.
you get very little royalty, and
Okay.
you do not have the transparency of how many copies are sold and stuff. These are all assumptions. Then there is vanity publishing, where you pay to get published. So these are
Okay.
the publishing methods.
Okay. Um, Now that you have already written your book, what is one thing that you wish you knew before becoming an author?
Yeah, that if you publish, either take enough time to sort your own head and plan the marketing and stuff, then publish your book. And once you have published, don't stop. This is a continuous job. You just have to do it repeatedly. You just have to promote your book all the time. You promote it for like 1 year, then if you want to write another novel and stuff. If I knew that before, I would have not stopped. So I think it's a continuous process. It's like a job. You cannot, like, I don't want to go to office for 3 years, I'll not go. It's that.
Um, After reading your book, I was going through some of the reviews on Amazon, and I'm sure you've read them all. What was the most memorable response you received, other than that gift and the first message? The memorable one.
Okay. Yeah, there was this girl who was texting me, when will you write your second book? When will you write the second book? When will you write the second book? She used to text me every day these long. I have read this book. Oh my god, I'm going crazy for this crazy text. That was so my energy. I used to text authors like Jenny Han, who wrote To All the Boys series, and used to text her, "Give me the sequel, give me the sequel, give me the sequel." So that was really memorable and cute. That, yeah, that's what I wanted. It was that sequel thing.
Okay. And now I have
And
a.
some people were like
uh,
obsessing over Siddharth at that time. There was Siddharth, Team Sid A, and some people have commented on Amazon and some were emailing me. So it was really a nice feeling that people are loving the guy who did not love me so much.
Oh, acha, can you, if I comment something on Kindle, can you see them in the book in Kindle? The
Wow.
annotations and bookmarks.
Yeah, I used no. I cannot. Can I?
You cannot.
I don't know. I haven't opened Kindle since a long time. I don't remember.
Some
Definitely.
in somewhere in the middle of the story when I thought, I was Team Arya. Okay, so Arya was getting hurt a lot at some point, in the book, and I didn't like Siddharth very much at a point in the book.
None of my friends did. They were all like, yeah, so arrogant.
But I hardly took 15-20 days to read it. It was that easy to read.
Yeah, fast,
It
quick reading.
not on my side. I think on your side, you wrote it so well that it wasn't like a reading activity. It was more like an experience. In fact, I when they were traveling, I felt like I was traveling. When they were near the rivers, I felt like I am near the rivers. It was so very immersive. Your book.
I think that book is a manifesting ritual sort of thing, because whatever I wrote in the novel, all the places except New York, I did not go to New York. I
Hmm.
have been everywhere. I have done everything,
Wow.
almost like 90% of things I have done from the novel. And I always wanted to do that, wear those clothes. I have described Arya's fashion in very, like, specific manners. Today she's wearing that grandpa cardigan and stuff. I always wanted to wear those clothes and go to those places and live like that, decorate my home and stuff. So finally, I am very close to that life that I wrote in there. I think I
Wow.
was 24, 25 when I wrote that novel. If I would have been writing that novel, the ending would have been different.
She was
I'll
so
send you
hurt.
the sequel. I'll send you the sequel.
Please do that.
My second novel is like really psychological. So I'm not at all rom com. The sequel is like a rom-com, but that's not coming anytime soon. But when the novel that is coming soon, that's disaster.
Okay, rapid fire. Coffee shop or silent room?
Coffee shop,
Travel with a friend or travel with family?
boyfriend, and family.
Read,
No, not
yeah,
family. Boyfriend, friend, then family.
okay. Read while traveling or noting while traveling or music?
Music.
Music. One author that inspired you to write.
Jenny Han and Taylor Swift.
Acha, final question. what would you say to someone who carries a story inside them but is afraid to write?
Just write it. Write it badly, write it terribly, but just write it. First write it, then think can be fixed. Right? If you don't write it, you'll never write it. You'll be 50 and you'll be 60. I had a better story, but you did not write it. So we don't know if you had a better story. Just write it in your early days, then you can fix it later in life. अगर एक manuscript है ना raw, वो कभी भी fix हो सकता है. But if you have a blank page, that cannot be fixed. So I'll just ask them to write. Plus, if you write a partial autobiography, I assume that most of the writers are writing partial autobiographies. Their first novels are mostly partial autobiographies. So that is the biggest gift you can give yourself. So I had a breakup 7 months back, and that guy was literally Siddharth. I met him 3 years, 3 years later, and I was like, "Oh my god, I have written about this person." Those lines and those moments, everything was same except the ending, of course. So there were a lot of time and emotions that I used to deal with, but I had written a book about it, so I knew myself better, and that was really guiding me through that. I think every
Uh,
aspiring writer should do that to themselves. Every human should gift them a novel about their own life. That is, yeah, priceless.
so that. Those are all my questions. Do you have anything else to say?
Anything else?
If you'd like to add about your book or about your upcoming project or anything.
Yeah, so my novel is getting relaunched. That will be our song is getting relaunched in January at the World Book Fair. Please show up, get signed copies, say hi. I'm an introvert, so don't say hi, but come show up, get a signed copy and stuff. And about my upcoming novels, 3 novels are pipelined and they'll be coming in the following years. Please do support me. I promise I'll not disappear this time. Please.
Okay. Thank you
And
so much.
shout out to Lisha again.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for doing this with me. I'll see you soon.